And that means different things at different universities, but for some universities, it means these are people who don't find out until the week before the semester begins whether they have a job. It means that they're often not paid very well. They don't have benefits. Most of them don't have offices. Some of them don't even have office hours because they only will have, one class to teach or something, and they'll just, say, well, come meet me at Starbucks if you really want to talk about what's going on in class. So, one of the things that I tell parents and students who are in the process of looking at colleges is that we have to be wise consumers. And there have actually been a lot of tools that have come out in the last number of years, I think, that have helped students in this to some extent. The most famous, obviously, is U.S. News and World Report. Before the U.S. News rankings, there was actually very little information that colleges gave over in terms of their admission statistics, their financial aid statistics, alumni giving, all these things. And even when the colleges did give it out, there was no place you could sort of find all the information to compare different colleges in one place. So U.S. News gets a lot of crap. A lot of people criticize them. They think that U.S. News is somehow responsible for the hyper-competitive college atmosphere that's out there. And to a certain extent, probably has added to the atmosphere that I think was already out there. But U.S. News also performed a valuable service. I think they basically helped parents and students really be able to start to compare apples to apples when they were looking at colleges. So that being said, there is, in my opinion, one major flaw with U.S. News, which is when it does its rankings, one of the things that it ranks very heavily is a college's reputation. And the reputation they score basically asking the administrators at other schools what they think of that college's reputation. So what this means in effect, actually, is that they're scoring other colleges almost entirely based on their faculty's record of publication. Because that is the only way that faculty at a university will gain a reputation outside of their campus. So you could get a great reputation for being the best teacher on a particular campus, but nobody on another campus will really know that. You don't have a way of recognizing that beyond the campus borders. So when you call up a dean at, Bowdoin or something like that, and you ask them, what do you think of Bates in terms of their reputation, you're basically saying, could you please score their faculty's record of publication? And so that's, I think that's about a quarter of the ranking right now. It could be a little bit more. But when students are looking at, am I going to go to school number 75, or am I going to school number 57, or 43, or 32, those numbers are based on things that are almost entirely irrelevant to the student experience, in my opinion. If you are, looking at colleges, I think what you need to find out a lot more is what is going on in the classroom. And that takes a lot more work than looking at the U.S. News ranking. And it takes a lot more work than just going on the tour with the guy who walks backwards and everything and shows you the cafeteria. No, you actually need to go and, find out what is going on in the classroom. Now, there are other sort of things, and I won't say they're tricks because I don't think that, the admissions officers have it in for you. But if you ask to go visit classes, a lot of times you will be pushed towards certain kinds of classes. You will go visit some seminar of 10 people, and you will hear some high-level discussion with college juniors talking about constitutional law or evolutionary biology or some other. It's going to be a really interesting class, I guarantee you. And it's going to be very small. But the problem is, you have to ask what the likelihood is you're going to end up in that class. And even if you end up in that class, are you going to end up in that class when you're a freshman, or are you going to end up in that class 3 years down the line? And what is your freshman class going to look like? Is it going to be an introductory class with 700 other kids? Some of the schools, some of the state schools out there, you're in a lecture, an introductory lecture, with 1,000 other young adults. And you have to ask yourself, is this professor engaging enough so that in a lecture of 1,000 people, so let's see, that's about twice the Worcester Academy student body, you are going to be paying attention. And I don't know how assemblies are these days, but I can say, people people's attention started to drift a little probably after a few minutes. So imagine listening to, an introductory political science lecture with 1,000 other students in the class, and you're way in the back. And, people around you are, munching on their lunch, and they're, texting on their cell phones. I mean, it doesn't seem like it now, but this is going to be the educational experience you are paying a lot of money for. And so, I think a lot of students, students and parents tend to think about college as a diploma. I'm paying for the reputation of the school. I'm paying because this is a college that's going to give me a diploma that's going to get me a job. And in large part, that's true. I mean, you are going to, college-educated kids do make more than non-college-educated kids. College-educated bartenders make more than non-college-educated bartenders, which should tell you something about the drinking and pouring skills that you might learn in college. But no, seriously, I mean, college is a signifier. College says to employers, congratulations, you have found yourself a middle-class kid who can show up on time and who has sort of jumped through this set of hoops, and now they've gotten their diploma, and you can successfully hire them and assume that they will show up on time for the job that you did and put in a reasonable effort. But what I think students and parents need to think about more is a little bit more of the substance. It's a little bit more of what am I actually going to spend my time doing in those 4 years. There's going to be plenty of partying, there's going to be not a lot of studying if the statistics are true. But there are a lot of students I talk to, or recent college graduates I talk to, who actually have some regrets. And they think to themselves, there are some books I was assigned in college I didn't read. And now that I actually have a job, and I have to pay a mortgage, I have children, I have all these other responsibilities, there's no other time in my life that I can foresee, at least before retirement, when I'm going to have the opportunity to do these things and to really think about the things that faculty are saying, or to read the books that might be interesting to me but might have nothing to do with the career that I have now. So, I guess what I would do is sort of, I would encourage those of you who are going to visit colleges soon to kind of think about these questions and not just about what name you think will look best on the diploma at the end. Because I think generally, if you're a hard worker, at any variety of schools, you're going to be able to get a job as soon as we're out of this recession, I promise. But the substance of what you learn in college is something that you are going to